Communion text this morning will be from Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 and 2, and Jeremiah 33, verses 14 and 15, as the guys pass out communion. Isaiah chapter 11. Then a shoot will spring from the stem of Jesse, and a branch from his roots will bear fruit. The Spirit of Yahweh will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh. Also righteousness will be the belt about his loins, and faithfulness the belt about his waist. Behold, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I will establish the good word which I have spoken concerning the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days, and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch of David to branch forth, and he shall do justice and righteousness on the earth. So in this season, it's good for us to remember the first advent of Christ, the first coming of Christ. And throughout the Old Testament, the prophets, through their ministry, they prepared the way for the incarnation of the promised Messiah. And for millennia, God's people waited for the fulfillment of that hope. And this text that we just read was written about 700 years before Christ. But we see throughout the Old Testament, much earlier than that even as far back as Genesis, the promised Savior. Even at the very beginning, we see the seed of Eve would crush the head of the serpent. And mankind's hope has been in that forever. So the people of Israel and others, they waited eagerly with expectation for the fulfillment of that hope. And in this season, we also have an expectation as we prepare to remember the birth of God's Son. And the faith of God's people was vindicated. It was vindicated when that promised Savior was born into this world. Today our hope and our expectation is in the second advent, in his second coming. And that's what we do in communion. That's what we're about to do, is to proclaim the death of the Lord and to remember what he has done for us until he returns. And like those before us, our faith will be vindicated when the promised Savior returns in glory.